Okay, continuing some more advanced techniques in Maya. I just apply the lattice deformer to my object to create a little bit more of an organic axe shape. And now I'm going to be adding a lot more detail to this, a lot more poly, so I can start to sculpt and add more rough textures to this stone blade. Before I do that, what I might do is just add in like a little blunt kind of like cut into my blade. So I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, and I'm going to come to about here and just come around there, set that there, hit enter. Okay, I'm going to take like a chink out of this blade. So if I go to face and just delete these. And then what I want to do is start to close this gap. So a number of different ways I can do this. First off, I'm going to try using a bridge. So edge, select this edge and bridge, and then we can start to get ahead and do it the same on this side. And then what might work with those two little holes that are in my mesh now is the fill hole selection there. So if I just pick these and go to I believe it's edit mesh, might be mesh fill hole, there we go. And do the same thing on this one if I can find it. There it is. So one more time, select all those, and then mesh fill hole. Okay, cool. So I've just taken like a little bit of a nick out of my blade. What I could do is just exaggerate a bit more with vertex mode. Just select those, kind of come there, and then drag over those. Make sure I've got selected two. Bring that out. So you know what I'm after, that kind of like blunt kind of blade. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so what I want to do is start using some sculpting techniques to create texture to this. Now, Blender, which is another modeling piece of software, is great for sculpting and adding, you know, super like textures to your very simple low poly meshes. And in Maya, you can do the same thing. It's really overhauled all of its sculpting tools, and with only a few of these you can get some really dramatic effects. So what I want to do, and this is often where people fall down in Maya, is that they have a go at using sculpting and it doesn't work. It starts acting up and doing strange things, and it's because there's not enough faces for Maya to move and change and manipulate. So I'm gonna cross everything because I've had Maya going for quite a while now, and applied some advanced techniques to this. So let's just see if it can handle it. So to begin with, what you're going to do is add divisions, okay, and you're just going to keep going, adding enough divisions there so that there's enough detail for Maya to take that and make changes to it. Okay, so I've got that. What you can also do before you start doing that, because you can see how you can still sort of see my faces, if you smooth all of this as well, that's another thing you can do before you do that. Where are we? Smooth. And before you do that, you might want to just bevel this bit. Let's see what I can use bevel. There we go. And I'll just add a couple more settings. So we get a harder edge on that bit. We don't want it to be completely softened. Same on that one. We want to keep that nice and sharp. Okay, so back to object mode. Add divisions. Oops, sorry. Smooth. There we go. And then add divisions. Okay, cool. Looking good. And now we're going to have a go at sculpting it. Now, sculpting, the way it works is you've really got to make sure that you've set Maya up to be working in meters, and that your objects are nice and big and to size. If anything, just a little bit over in size, and then you can shrink them down a bit when it comes to exporting. And what you want to do is to check that is go to Windows, Settings, Preferences, Settings, and make sure you're working in meters. Okay, sculpting in general, using any of these tools really won't work if you're not working in a larger format in the correct size. So I know my axe blade is quite large, and it's got a lot of detail there. So when I start to apply sculpting textures to this, I know it's going to respond in hopefully the right way. Now the best tool to begin with is the imprint tool. Okay, now if you click on this and double click on the imprint, and let's just reset the tool. Okay, now the imprint, what it will do, it will allow you to kind of draw on this and apply a texture to it. So if I go to stamp, use stamp, and then pick a stamp, in there you've got lots of different textures that you can apply. So things like cracks, dry leaves, pebbles, rust, stone, and then more kind of textures, really just sort of like noise textures, which are quite useful when it comes to using them subtly to just roughen up textures and create stone and metal and things like that. Let me just try this one, dirt. Okay, and if I change the size of this, there you go, you can see roughly what size we're working with now, and bring the strength right down. Okay, now what you can do is start to drag over this, and it will apply that stamp, that roughness to our model and add geometry to it. What I just need to do though is apply a steady stroke, so that's similar to like in Illustrator. It will add a stroke to this but keep it nice and smooth. And the other thing is draw method. If I click and hold on this, it will kind of drag out the size of it and just like stamp it on. If I do continuous, it's like painting like with a brush. Let me show you the difference. So if I've got scale image from center, what happens is you can kind of position it how you want and then let go, and that, as you rotate it, it will apply that rough kind of speckly texture to your stonework, or my kind of stone blade. So you can see how that's added a bit more roughness, and that's exactly what I was after actually, that kind of, pottled kind of stonework blade. And this always works best with tweaking the strengths and the brush sizes, so you can kind of build it up where you might want it to be very rough, and then other bits where you prefer it to be more subtle. Okay, so that's dragging it from the middle. If you do continuous, see how it's kind of creating that kind of smoother effect, and we're getting that kind of like brush almost. So you can see there I've really like roughened up the blade on that bottom bit, which is quite cool. Let's zoom in a bit more and just apply a bit more. If I hold down B, again it's the same thing, and drag left and right, I can bring down the brush size. So I can get that kind of roughness going there on that bit of the blade. It's like a deformed Pac-Man. Let's pick a different stamp, see what other techniques we can get going. I don't know. Why don't we go for gravel? Who knows what this is going to do. Bring the strength down again, yeah. And I actually quite liked it when it was this. So you could kind of, oh, this is going to be rubbish. That's quite cool actually. I think if you bring the strength right up, you can see what happens. It really tries to go to town and add a lot of detail there. So you see what I mean? It really makes a big difference. If that's what you're after, then you know, have an experiment. You know, it might work if you go quite large. And you see you can get a bit more roughness. It's starting to look really haggard now, which is quite cool. I'm not sure about that stamp there. Let's just pick one more. Go for this dirt this time. Maybe quite a large. There we go. And what I'm after is just that texture, those shadows. So when I come to bake the textures from this, I'm going to get all that detail. See how it's still looking quite soft on the end here. Still think it's probably a little bit too strong. Probably gone a bit OTT with this, but it's just showing you these techniques. And the other thing you can do is sort of smooth it, soften it up. So you can use the smooth tool in the same way and soften that out. But what we've started to get now is you know, a really nice kind of gnarly old stone like blade going on there. And still not happy with that though. I think we could do better. I'll probably kill mine now. Yeah, that's better. Getting it on the inside here. Cool. Feed me. Yeah, nice. So what I'll do next is create a wooden handle for that, and obviously we're starting to play with some serious poly count now, so we're not going to UV map this. What we would do is bake the textures from this and go from there with the low res model. Alright, cool.